Hi everyone, welcome back. Are you struggling with the decision of whether to stay or leave in your love life right now? Maybe you're worried about whether you should continue dating someone who's already shown you some things you're not quite sure about. Or perhaps you're at the end of a relationship and wondering whether to leave or stay in it. You could even be after a breakup, wondering whether you should go back or move forward and meet someone new. This discussion delves into 3 very specific questions you can ask yourself to determine whether the right decision is to stay the course or to leave and find somebody else. Let's get into it. It's very easy to dispense advice and say, leave. If a woman goes to her friend and says, a guy did this, her friend might say, leave. Don't go on another date with him. Or if a guy says, she did that, the response might be, ditch her. We often imagine that friend to be someone who's wounded, bitter, or defensive, all too willing to write people off quickly. I sometimes worry that my advice has made too many people write others off too quickly, based on perceived red flags. We love hearing about red flags. There's a reason that red flag videos do so well online. There's something gratifying about it. There's something about dating someone, seeing a bad sign, and then getting to write them off in a righteous way. You did this, move aside. I'm going to keep looking. The danger, of course, is that looking for red flags in others distracts us from our own. We all have red flags, and the question becomes which ones are too dangerous to ignore and which are worth negotiating with. I've come to believe that relationships are incredibly complex. We should have compassion when we look at other people's situations from the outside. It's easy to judge someone's relationship from the outside because we don't have our own complexity to compare it to. We might say, I can't believe they put up with that, because we have the righteousness of someone without complexity in their lives in that sense. It's far harder to judge someone else's relationship without compassion when we ourselves have negotiated complexities, overcome messes, and invested in figuring out a way through. When we love or like people, we don't quickly write them off because of differences or traumas that emerge. Whether or not that makes them a good choice for us is a different story, but we're able to have a capacious enough heart for the differences between people, the things they've gone through, and the fact that people are probably doing their best, even if their best isn't great in the moment. People would change if it were easy. If there were a switch they could flick to be better, they would. But it's not easy, and people can heal. There are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself to help determine whether you should stay or go in your situation. You might be in a situation where this means deciding whether to continue dating someone or struggling to let go of someone you've been in a relationship with. First, is there a big flaw offset by a truly redeemable quality? Something negative we bring to the table can be offset by a beautiful quality or trait. Universal redeemable traits include humility, self-awareness, empathy, teamwork, and being growth-minded. If someone values these traits, they have the impetus to do the necessary work to heal. Kindness and compassion are traits that can counterbalance negative effects of flaws. Without these neutralizing qualities, a negative trait becomes a dark pairing. Unique pairings in a positive sense make someone irresistible, like being both funny and sexy. A dark pairing is when 2 qualities together make for a dangerous cocktail. For example, if someone is anxious and defensive, it makes for a difficult pairing. They may not own their anxiety, making it your fault. But if someone is anxious and kind, they might acknowledge their anxiety and work on it, counterbalancing the negative trait. We rarely end a relationship based on just one thing. It's usually a cocktail of negative traits that make it so difficult and toxic that we can't stay anymore. We often forget this complexity. Secondly, ask yourself, is it getting easier? Many people say if a relationship is right, it should be easy. While that sentiment has merit, it's often not the case. People come into relationships at different stages of development, with varying amounts of healing and growth to do. There will be times in a relationship that are hard, and we must decide if we're comfortable being with someone while they work on their issues. Lastly, consider if you're finding yourself justifying staying because of the good qualities, even though the negative ones are overwhelming. Reflect on whether these redeeming qualities actually neutralize the negatives or just make excuses for them. Remember, every relationship has its unique complexities, and while advice can guide you, the decision to stay or go ultimately lies in your hands. Consider these questions deeply to make the choice that is right for your happiness and well-being. If you found these helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more relationship advice and fun content. Thanks for watching.